Hey guys, I'm just gonna go over the workout for Wednesday. We've got an EMOM to start the warm-up. It's going to be 4 minutes and it's going to be alternating. So on the odd minutes, minutes 1 and minutes 3, we're gonna do 20 seconds of running, and you can just run in place. If you're in the classes, the coach will time it for you. And then we've got 20 seconds of lunges. Okay, when we do our lunge, just make sure that that shin in the front there is nice and straight. Okay, and then you've got 20 seconds of rest. So that's going to be your odd minutes, minutes 1 and 3. And then on the even minutes, we've got another 20-second run, a little bit faster this time. Okay, and then 20 seconds of deadlift with your object. Now the object can be, if you have zero equipment, we can use a backpack. And when we do a deadlift with that, you're just going to hold it just like you would our barbell. You're going to send the hips back and lift it down. If you want to get down at the bottom here and hold on, we can get some more range of motion there. Just sending the hips back, keeping the shins nice and straight. You got 20 seconds of that. Okay, if we have equipment in our house, we could use a dumbbell. We could also use a plate. We can be sending our hips back and coming down with that dumbbell. Also hold it like this. And you've got a plate. Again, we're going to be sending those hips back and just let that plate touch the ground. Okay, so that's 20 seconds of run, 20 seconds of deadlifts, and then 20 seconds of rest. So we're going to do that for 4 minutes, and then we're going to head into an AMRAP for 3 minutes. The AMRAP's going to be 20 mountain climbers, 5 ground to overhead with your object, and 5 floor press with your object. So 20 mountain climbers. Mountain climbers are these switch foot jumps. Okay, you want to get lots of distance there. We can go onto a bench to elevate if we need to for these as well, or on a staircase. You can do them however you need to. And then we've got ground to overhead with our object. So here's our object here, or our dumbbell, or our plate. You just want to you're going to use your hips to bring it up to here, give it a nice hug, and then dip, press it overhead, bring it back down. Okay, you're going to pick it up, dip, grab it here, dip, press overhead. Okay, you can get it overhead however you like. We can do it more like ground to overhead with the plate, which kind of flows a bit better. You're gonna come down and then overhead with that plate, down, overhead. Really depends on what shape your object is. And then we have floor press. So floor press, we've done that in the gym a little bit, not recently, but it's basically like a bench press. Only you're laying flat on the ground, so it's going to reduce the range of motion in your arms. You're only going to be able to get to right here as opposed to coming back further when we do a bench press. So you're going to grab your odd object and lay down. And why we're doing floor press in the warm-up here is so that we can really feel our shoulders connect with the ground. So first thing you're going to do, grab your odd object. Okay, you're going to lay your legs out nice and straight. You're going to press your object up, and then what I want you to do is get your shoulders into the ground. So you can see the difference here. I'm really pressing up, and then I'm just letting my shoulders come back. And then from here, we're going to do it just like we would a bench press. Okay, those elbows are going to be tracked in, and your elbows are going to touch the floor, and you're going to press right up. And that object is going to come down to about the sternum, which is exactly where we would go with a bench press. Okay, you got 5 of those, and then you're back to your mountain climbers. So to go over that one more time, we have an EMOM 4 minutes. So your first minute and your third minute, you're going to do the 20 seconds of the run and 20 seconds of lunges, 20 seconds of rest. And then the even minutes, minutes 2, minutes 4, you're going to do 20 seconds run and 20 seconds of deadlifts, and then you've got your 20 seconds of rest. Okay, and then when you're ready, we're starting the AMRAP. 3 minutes, you're going to go through 20 mountain climbers, 5 ground to overhead with your object, and 5 floor press with your object. So that's our warm-up. Okay, the workout has 2 parts. Part 1 is 5 sets. We've got a 20-second max distance run. And that might look different depending on, if you're planning on staying inside the entire time, you can do 20 seconds of max burpees. And then whether you do 20 seconds of the max distance run or the max burpees, you're going to have 40 seconds of recovery movement, some kind of recovery movement afterwards. So if you're doing 20 seconds of a max distance run outside, you can bring your phone with you to kind of track that 20 seconds, or if you have a watch or a stopwatch, something like that. For the 40 seconds, it would just be a recovery jog. So you're really sprinting for that 20 seconds in whatever you choose here, and then 40 seconds of recovery. Okay, if you're doing max burpees in 20 seconds, you're gonna do 40 seconds of recovery, just high knee walks. Just keep moving around where you are. Okay, if you have a machine in your house, like a rower or a bike or something, you know, you're welcome to use that as well. It's going to be the same, 20 seconds max distance, 40 seconds of a slower pace recovery. And your score for this, you want to score your effort. So on a 1 to 10 scale, you're going to score each of these 5 sets. 1 being the lowest effort, 10 being the highest effort, and what we're looking for is like a sweet spot, you know, 7, 8, or a little bit above that. So that's what your score will be for that. And then we're gonna rest 2 minutes, and that's part 1. Part 2 is an AMRAP 7 minutes, and it's going to be 10 ground to overhead with an object, 10 strict press with your object, and a 100-meter run, or 10 burpees if you're planning on staying inside. So for the 100-meter run, before you start the workout, you can go out and kind of check what your 100 meters is gonna be so that you're running the same thing over and over. The 10 ground to overhead, that's going to be exactly what I showed you in the warm-up. So with your odd object or your dumbbell or your plate, you're just going to get it from the ground to overhead. You can do that however you want. So you can snatch, which is that smoother movement where we're coming down, using the hips to get it up. Okay, we can also do more of a clean and a press with our odd object where we're grabbing it, using those hips to come up, grabbing it here, dip, pressing above head. Okay, that's up to you. We got 10 of those, and then we've got 10 strict press with our object. So once we get it up to here, we would be doing our 10. I'll come down to my knees for this one. You're gonna be standing, but you're just making sure that you've got your core locked out. Okay, we're nice and tight in here, and we're also, as we press, we're not gonna arch our back. Okay, you're gonna be standing, and you're gonna make sure that those ribs stay nice and tucked in when we're doing that press. All right, so part 1 is 5 sets of 20 seconds max distance or 20 seconds of max burpees with 40 seconds right after it of recovery, some kind of recovery movement. And then we're gonna rest 2 minutes. And part 2 is the AMRAP, 7 minutes of as many rounds as you can, 10 object ground to overhead, 10 object strict press, and a 100-meter run, or 10 burpees. And your score there will be rounds and reps. Awesome, looks like a fun one. Can't wait to see you guys.